All right, welcome to Survive to Thrive, everybody. And today is Thursday. We're on day 4 of the 14-point listing presentation. I'm going to start over here on the left side, and I know the light is causing that to have a little bit of a glare. The word at the top of the whiteboard is gratitude. So when you go on a listing presentation, if you'll write these words down, it'll give you an outline that you can use when you're in a conversation with the homeowner. And gratitude simply means thank you for meeting with me today. It is always an honor and a privilege to meet with somebody and discuss the possibility of the deeds team representing them in the sale of their home. And whenever I meet with a potential client, because of that mission statement, one of 3 things typically happens. Either 1, they hire me, which is awesome, or 2, they don't, which is not so awesome. And the third thing that occasionally happens is I may choose not to take the listing. Now, if you're asking, why would I do that? The answer is, if I feel a seller has a goal or an expectation that I cannot meet or exceed or can, you guys caught me on that, didn't you? It's not I cannot meet, it's cannot be met, because I implies that somebody else can do it. All right, so if I feel that a seller client has a goal or an expectation that cannot be met or exceeded, I would rather turn the opportunity down today than let you down 6 months from now. Does that make sense? All right, we're not going to go through the whole thing because we don't have enough time, but if you get on my YouTube channel, it's all there. Now, where we're going to skip to today is we're coming right down here to strategic pricing. Satisfying needs is your marketing plan in order to accomplish their goals. The goals that they shared with you when you asked them on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being not so great and 10 being awesome, what's one thing that needs to happen in the sale of your home for you to feel the experience was a 10? And the answer you hear is, get my price. And your answer, your response to that, of course, is, so what does that look like? And they tell you $650. What would $650 do for you? Why is that important? And they give you the answer to that. And you're going deep because that's where the goal is. It's not at the surface. We're snorkeling up here, we're scuba diving down here, and you have to scuba dive in order to find the real goal. All right, so you're asking, what does that look like? What would that do for you in order to get deep? And once you've identified all of their goals and you've prioritized them and you've trial closed, if I was able to show you today that I'm the right agent for the job in order to accomplish all of these goals, would you hire me today? You hear yes, awesome, let's get started. You hear no, awesome, let's get started. It doesn't matter what they say. All you're doing is finding out, are they ready today? And just because they say no doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Remember, people will never change their mind, but they will make a new decision based on new information. So at some point during this listing presentation, my goal is to help provide new information that's going to give them an opportunity to make a new decision. All right, now we're going to get into strategic pricing. And the first thing we're going to do in strategic pricing is we're going to go through a CMA. This is not a CMA class. All right, so if you're wondering, John, how do you do a CMA? I'm not the best person to teach that. I could give you a list of people that are, but that's not what we're going to do here. What we are going to do is once we've done our CMA and we have a price in mind, in other words, we have a price of, let's say, $740,000, right? Good number to pick too, by the way. Because if our CMA is telling us 740, what do you think the seller wants? There you go. There you go. What do you think the seller wants? Probably 770, probably 760. It's never going to be less. It's always going to be a little bit more than what you find. So let's say that the CMA tells you that you're looking at a price of 740. Now, the next thing that I want to do, that did not come through very good. So hold on one second. There we go. 740. So the next thing that I want to do is I want to do a supply and demand analysis for 700 to 750. And I also want to do a supply and demand analysis for 750 to 800,000. two different ponds. Think of it like that. I could go fishing in the 700 to 750 pond, or I could go fishing in the 750 to 800,000 pond. Which one gives me the best opportunity of selling my home in the next 30 days, if that's my goal, so I can move to Atlanta in order to start my new job on time? Where do I need to be in order to be the shining star? All right. What's the competition that I want to compete against? Now, if you get a lot of data and you choose to do 725 to 750, you can. And 750 to 775, that's fine too. As long as there's enough data, because you need data in order to make the math work. Now, we've got this price of 740,000. So I'm going to follow the formula that you see on the right side of the board here. And active is active between let's say we have lots of data and we're going to do 725 to 750. And we're also going to do 750 to 775. Because I want to know which one of those markets is the best market to be in. Remember, the seller's probably thinking 770. You're seeing 740. And you need to be able to show them, here's what the market looks like, here's what your competition looks like, here's what we need to do in order to be the shining star so you can beat the competition and sell your home. Now, let's go from 750 to 775,000, and we're looking at a 2 to 3 mile radius around the subject property. We're only looking at properties that are in the same price range. If it's a single family home, we're looking at single family homes, but we're not looking for comparable properties. That's a big mistake that a lot of real estate agents make. I don't care if they're comparable or not. What I want to know is, what's the supply of homes between 750 and 775,000 in a 2 to 3 mile radius of my subject property? How many homes are for sale? What's the active inventory? And let's just say that the answer we get is 18. So we find out that we have 18 active listings between 750 and 775,000. Guys, if you can keep an eye on the chat and somebody help me out answer those questions, or if you have a question for me, save it to the end. I'll answer it for you, because I'm seeing them coming up, but I'm not a multitasker. I can't read your messages and keep going. All right. So we've got 18 listings for sale between 750 and 775 in a 2 to 3 mile radius of our subject property. We're going to do the same thing for solds. We're going to go back 6 months. And why 6 months, John? Because we need data in order to make the math work. Is it possible that homes are worth a little bit less today than they were 6 months ago? Yes, and that's not the point. The point is, I need to know how many homes are selling every 30 days. That's it. Now, I'm going to go back 6 months, and let's say the answer that I get is there were 24 properties sold in the last 6 months. Cool. So C is, I'm going to take 24 and I'm going to divide it by 6. I'm going to take B. Let's just do this. And C is B divided by 6 equals 4. So we have 4 homes selling every 30 days. Now, D is A, the number of active listings, divided by C, which is 4. 4 goes into 18, 4.5. So we have a 4.5 month supply of inventory, which, by the way, that puts us here. Oh, it puts us here, which I'm going to get to in just a minute. We're 120 days plus. Just remember that. We're going to come back to that. Here's the conversation. If there are 4 properties selling every 30 days and there are 18 properties for sale, are we going to be one of the 4 that sells between 750 and 775? Well, that depends. First of all, it depends on, are we going to be the shining star? Are we going to stand out as one of the best homes that are for sale between 750 and 775 when we're comparing ourselves to all of the other properties that are for sale? Are we going to be one of the four? Are we going to beat the competition? Are we going to be the bride? Are we going to be the bridesmaid? And the answer is probably, not probably, the answer is no. It's no. If the market says this home is worth 740, if the data says that the home is worth 740, then we're fishing in the wrong pond. We're looking for buyers in a pond where buyers are looking for homes that are worth 750 to 775. Those homes are going to be bigger. They're going to be a little bit more updated. They're going to be newer, and we're going to lose the competition. Now, if we did the same thing and we looked from 725 to 750, let's just say that we have 18 active as well. All right. In the last 6 months, we had 36 that sold. So we take C divided by B. No, C is B divided by 6 equals 6. So now we have 6 selling every 30 days. And A divided by C, active divided by the number of homes selling every 30 days, equals 3 months supply of inventory. We have 6 homes selling every 30 days. We have 18 to choose from. We have a 3-month supply of inventory. And the question is, are we going to be one of the 6 out of 18 competing against lesser competition? The answer is yes. 100% yes, we are. And we are priced to beat the competition. Now we're the bride, we're not the bridesmaid, and we're going to sell our home in the next 30 days because we're fishing in the right pond. We're competing against the right competition. All right, now, when you look at the real estate market, 0 to 30 days, the market is doing this. It is on the way up. 30 to 90 days, it's still doing this. Maybe not at the same rate, but it's still going up. The moment we hit 90 to 120 days, things plateau. And the biggest challenge that most real estate agents make and most homeowners make is when you get into that 90 to 120 day market, they think prices are still going up. So they price the property up here where it should be down here, and they're priced above the market. It's like going fishing and hanging your bait 3 feet, that's supposed to be a bait, 3 feet above the water. You're not going to catch any fish. You got your bait out of the water. So when you get to 190 to 120 days, you need to understand that the market has plateaued and prices are leveled off. Now, when you get to 120 days plus, prices are going down. And when prices start going down, if the market says, we'll use the same conversation we did up here, if the market says 740, but we know we have 120 days plus of inventory, 740 is not the right price. 740 ain't going to beat the competition. 730 might, 725 will, but 730 might. Basic rule is you want to price ahead of the competition. You want to price where the market's going, not where it's at. You got to get in front of the competition in order to be the one that gets sold. If you chase the market down, you're going to end up selling your home for less money. Plus, you've got all of those months of holding costs that you're paying for. And this is a tough conversation with a seller. You have 3 things that you have to master as a real estate agent. Observation, this is what I see. Forecast, based on what I see, this is what's going on. This is where we're going. This is what the future of the real estate market looks like. This is where we're going to be in 6 months. So observation, forecast. And the third thing is master persuasion. Your job is to help that seller make a new decision based on new information. It's to help them understand that in order to sell their home, they have to get in front of the competition. They have to get in front of the market versus chasing the market down. Getting in front of the market simply means creating a buyer where a buyer would normally not exist. At what point is your home priced at, if you're in a market where there's just nothing happening, okay? If you're in a market where there's 12 for sale and none are selling, well, now you've got to create a buyer where a buyer would normally not exist. That means it has to be such a good deal that they can't walk away from it. Now, part of the art of persuasion is sellers are going to start saying things like, I don't want to give my home away. Remember, sellers go to script school too. And that's one of their favorites during a shift. I don't want to give my home away. So perception is really important here. What I would do at this point is I would simply ask, I'm going to pick somebody that I know will role play with me. Bob, let's go. So let's say, Bob, you bought your home 10 years ago, right? Or yeah, 10 years ago. So Bob, tell me, how long have you lived in your home?
10 years now.
Okay. And you were sharing with me that if you sold your home for 730, you would kind of feel like you were giving your home away, correct?
Yeah, we would be.
Yeah, I get it. Now, in 10 years, your home is worth a lot more today than when you bought it.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so you've got a lot of equity in your home, right?
Well, we do. Yeah.
That's awesome. Good for you, man. Now, here's the other thing. You've lived in the house for the last 10 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've enjoyed living in the house for the last 10 years, correct?
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
Okay. And a house like this, I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. If you were renting this house, you're paying $3,000-$4,000 a month at least. Let's go with four. So $48,000 a year, or $480,000 in the last 10 years. Now, did you pay $480,000 in rent in the last 10 years, Bob?
No, we sure didn't.
Right. And the price of your home has gone from blank to blank. You've got a lot of equity in the home, and you're selling your home for maybe $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 less than you want to, right?
Perhaps.
Now, let's say we decide that we're going to price your home at $770, because, here's another script. Remember, sellers go to script school, okay? We price your home at $770 because a buyer can always make an offer, or we can always lower our price later on, right?
Okay.
Now, Bob's getting excited because he's like, yeah. John agrees. We're good. And your home doesn't sell. You see, my greatest fear for you is not that you're going to get less money for your home than you want. My greatest fear for you is we're going to be here 6 months from now having the same conversation. It's going to be less.
Oh, that wouldn't be good.
Yeah, I mean, so what would happen if we get back together in 6 months? You list your home with the wrong agent who lists your property at the wrong price, and your home doesn't sell, and you and I are talking 6 months from now, and it's no longer 730, now it's 700. How would you feel about that?
That would be horrible, John. We have plans.
Yeah, so what should we do?
What do you suggest? We're going to have to price it at a realistic price so we can get out of here.
Yeah, I think we need to get in front of the market, and I think the price in order to do that is $720 to $730.
Okay, let's do it.
So you pick one of those, $720, $730. Where do you think we should be?
How about $725?
You got it. You ready to get started?
Let's roll.
Okay. All right, guys, raise your hands. Talk to me. Let's have some conversation. Questions. Bob, you did an amazing job on the role play. Thank you.
When you do the two supply and demand price ranges,
yeah,
how often do you find that the property would fall in the higher price range and be the sore thumb? Because I don't know, I just feel like the lower price would always get a little bit more attention, possibly.
Okay, so here's what happens, Daryl. I'm always gonna do, and I've done 3 price ranges before. So what will happen is if the CMA says value 740, the CMA gives me a price range of somewhere between 730 and 740. In other words, that's what it's going to sell for. If we were to get an appraisal today, that's probably what it would appraise for, right? So when we look at 750 to 775, the property is never going to fall in that category. Never. But what could happen is there's actually fewer days of inventory in the higher price range than there is in the lower price range. You could have 3 months of inventory, 750 to 775, and 5 months or 4 months of inventory in the lower price range. Now what? Okay, that higher price range would be better then, right? No, because now we're having the shining star conversation. Where are you going to beat the competition? Against what competition are you going to stand out as a shining star?
Okay, and one more question with the same, like almost the same thing. I've done it where I saw two different price ranges, the lower one and the higher one, where the houses are virtually like the same in both of those categories. And like the days on market, I mean, the supply and demand are the same as well. So kind of doesn't matter in that situation, does it?
Buyers are always going to choose based on presentation and price. And if a buyer has a half a dozen properties to choose from, the one that is priced the best is the one that's going to get the offer.
Got it.
On the they can always make an offer thing, that same seller, 730, and they're like, no, 740, they can make an offer. And then a home down the street sells for 735 or 730. And you ask the seller, if you would have got that offer, what would you have done? I would have sold my home. And you didn't get the offer. You never had a chance to sell your home because they made an offer to a lower price property. That's the problem with they can always make an offer. All right, Nick, talk to me.
Okay, so I've got two questions. So what do you say to the seller when they come back with, well, I don't have to sell, because that's a common one I hear. And what is it fair to say, or indicate that the market, forecasting the market could be going down if your market has been in that plateau? And then like personally, we've been in that plateau for about 3 months, and then I sold the property I had listed and we got above asking after being on the market for 3 months.
Mm. When you looked at the real estate market in 2006, property values, the shift started at about 2006 as we had more inventory. The market slowed down as far as prices were not going up at the rate that they were, but prices didn't start going down either. We saw little dips, but then we saw the market actually peak. Go back and look at it, guys. Then we saw another little dip, and then we saw a little peak, and the same thing happened until you got to 2008, and then the bottom fell out. And I believe that history repeats itself. And am I saying the same thing is going to happen now? No, I'm not. But this gets back to observation, forecast. Pay attention to days on market. Pay attention to list price to sell price ratio. These are all indicators of where the market is going. Now, to the person who says, I don't really need to sell my home, I'm totally cool with that. All right. I really am. So let's go back to the same map. 2008, values went down. I've got a seller that says I don't need to sell. No worries. You've got 8 years until your home is worth exactly what it is today. If the market does exactly what it did between 2008 and 2016, you've got 8 years before your home is worth what it is worth today. So Nick, my question to that seller would be, I get it, and I completely understand. You're not in a hurry. You don't have to sell. And take yourself off mute. Role play with me here quickly, Nick. And waiting meant that you were going to wait 2 years, 3 years, 4 years before your home is worth exactly what it is today, would you still wait?
Well, I don't know about 3 years, 4 years, maybe a year or two.
Okay. What if in a year or two your home is worth even less? How would you feel about that?
Yeah, that wouldn't be good.
Okay,
We're trying to move.
I get it. Okay. And you don't really need to sell your home, do you?
No, we just want to get down to the grandkids.
Okay. Are you a better negotiator when you need to sell your home or when you don't need to sell your home?
I would say without selling my home.
When you don't need to sell your home. So would you rather sell your home when you don't need to or when you have to?
Well, obviously when I don't need to, but I don't need. I'm not going to sell the home for. If I can't get what I need, I'm not going to sell it.
Okay, so Nick, here's where I would go to the third thing that happens whenever I meet with a potential seller. Nick, at this point, honestly, I feel like that's a goal or an expectation that can't be met. And as much as I want to work for you, I don't need to. And I would rather turn the opportunity down today than let you down 6 months from now.
Okay, no, that's good. Because that we get a lot of those, and those are our fishers, right? Those are the ones who are the retired couple, and they're looking to downsize, and they're looking to get out of the area to go to the kids, but they've got they've got unrealistic expectations in some instances.
Right. That's right. All right. I hope you guys got value today. Thank you for being here. I appreciate all of you. Go get them. I will see you all tomorrow morning.
Thank you, John. Good
All
day,
right.
everyone.
Make it a great day,
Thanks,
everybody.
John. It was great.
Have a great day, everyone.